lame, you netted.
I've been getting on my BNB and stacking these. Pairing it with EMP and then I'm LP. Gotta get myself a bag before the bull run. Gotta take some me, should stick it in the ballroom. I've been getting on my BNB and stacking these. Pairing it with EMP and then I'm LP. Gotta get myself a bag before the bull run. Gotta take some me, should stick it in the ballroom. E-pop got me waiting 3 more hours. Sticking all these years higher than a tower. Having all these nodes feel like superpowers. Investing all this bread, never been a coward. Call me Mr. Bond, money in the vault. I stay in the farm, feeling like the goal. Don't worry about the haters, not the detonator. I'll kill in every market, call me Terminator. I've been getting on my BNB and stacking these. Pairing it with EMP and then I'm LP. Gotta get myself a bag before the bull run. Me should stick it in the ballroom. I've been getting on my BNB and stacking these. Pairing it with EMP and then I'm LP. Gotta get myself a bag before the bull run. Gotta take some me, should stick it in the ballroom.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to EMP.Money. This is AJ, I am the team lead here, and this is our live AMA. We come to you every Monday and Thursday at 6:45 p.m. Eastern to discuss the week's events at EMP. So, I'm also joined by my co-host with the most, LA, and fellow team member. LA, how are you?
I'm so good. I'm happy to be here. It was one of those days where I was ready about 2 hours early and could barely wait to get on, and the time was ticking too slow. So
Yeah.
here we are, finally.
Yeah, no doubt. I know it's either one or the other, LA. We're either in dev meetings, like right up until the time the AMA starts, or we're excited for all the good news to share with everybody and updates for the week. So, yeah, everything's looking really good. We have another jam-packed episode. We have a special guest coming on in a little bit as well. But I do want to start off addressing some potential FUD and clearing the air on a few things in regards to LevelX. So we made some announcements internally in our socials, our Discord, and our Telegram. But I do want to go on record and give a little bit more of a background on voice, just so that there's no misinformation and everybody is well aware of the situation. So LevelX, again, not to be confused with Layer 1X. Layer 1X is the interoperable blockchain launching this summer. We're building the premier launch decks for them. L1X is more bullish than ever. So please don't get confused with the similar name. But LevelX was a project that we undertook with a partner protocol about probably, what, 4 months ago. Now, again, time flies in crypto. But it was with a protocol under the name of Hypermine. And Hypermine had a very substantial investment into Detonator and large parts of our EMP ecosystem. They had put their money where their mouth was, so to speak, and all of our dealings with the Hypermine team were amazing. They were crypto veterans. They were had nothing but positive things for both of our ecosystems, and that led to the Cultivator, which was one of our first Detonator as a service products with their token Xgrow, and Ghost was the name of their team lead, and we did docs with him behind the scenes. We're looking into some of our legal options now, but it turns out that Ghost really is a scammer. And again, I want to put it bluntly because that's what it was. Yes, we endorsed the LevelX protocol. We did everything we could to do our due diligence. We even were on the multi-sig. Again, all of it is on chain. You can see But Ghost was able to get around that because he was compounding the whole time in LevelX, being a benevolent whale until he wasn't. And it had nothing to do with us giving permission through the multi-sig or any other means of, trying to protect the community. It was just the way that LevelX was designed, is that anybody could continue to compound and get higher emissions from the rebasing. And so, again, if you have no idea what we're talking about, you weren't involved, please don't let this be a distraction. I just want to make sure that we clear the air a little bit on this. So, as of, about a week ago, or not even a few days ago, he has now discontinued any further development on LevelX. We parted ways with them officially about a month ago after we realized what he was doing. He also tried to put an unrealistic deadline of raising funds to put together a casino. That again now is not happening, and those funds were literally stolen from the liquidity of LevelX. So, LA, I know you were involved the whole time as well. You have a great way of kind of recapping things. So I don't know if you want to just add a little more clarity to the situation, a little bit more behind the scenes info, and anything else that needs to be said while, again, we're clearing the air.
Absolutely, yeah. The first thing is I want to clarify that it's not that we weren't keeping an eye on him before he did this. I did have a bit of worry about him maybe a week or two before that happened, but the problem is that every time that those Medium articles and stuff came out, we did some heavy digging and due diligence, and we had some of our on-chain experts dig into all the wallet addresses listed on there. I actually also had 3 or 4 additional wallet addresses that he had sent me when he was having problems compounding his detonator. We dug into those too, and we just couldn't find anything that he was doing wrong, and we couldn't find anything that he was doing that was being claimed that he was doing on those articles. And so it's very difficult to dissolve a partnership without any tangible evidence. You can't just say, I don't want to work with you anymore because I have tingles in my belly that say you're maybe a bad person, or so and so read an article about you, right? So we were keeping a very close eye on him, and we have been super transparent with everyone every step of the way, and we'll do whatever we have to protect everyone. But we got on the phone with him at least once a week to suggest things that he should do to take better care of his community, to take better care of his community as a whole, but especially the LevelX community, because a lot of our emperors were involved. I personally spent quite a bit of time with him, suggesting that he get on more AMAs, that he is more active in his Telegram groups and Discord groups, answering questions more transparently. AJ was very adamant that he doesn't ever use any of the LevelX tokens to be sold, to ever pay for marketing, and that there are so many alternate routes to explore before that's ever an option. I mean, look at EMP. We don't ever sell EMP to pay for marketing. There's always another option. And if we have to bootstrap it and do it without spending money, we always have, and we've always been successful doing that. So we had so many discussions with him and the other people on his team, and he always had the perfect answer. And unfortunately, that's what scammers do. They're manipulators. They are rehearsed, and they always have the perfect answer for everything to make you feel better in the moment, and get you to do what they want you to do. So That part is unfortunate, but we have been keeping a close eye on him, and that's kind of all I can shed on the situation.
Yeah, no, that was great, LA. Again, we pride ourselves on transparency, and again, even in the comments on YouTube, yeah, Hypermind was doing literally 1,000 LP snipes at a time, and in the beginning, I think Ghost and the Hypermind team, again, and this is mainly about Ghost. The entire team, I think, has also been betrayed, for lack of a better word, on the situation, but that being said, we have to deal in facts. And what was presented to us was, again, a protocol that has done nothing but support EMP the entire time, a very innovative model. I still really like the economics of LevelX. I know that I did a bunch of AMAs with Ghost leading up to that, and all of that was 100% genuine. I mean, again, had Ghost not gamified the system and used his own pre-sale allocation to accumulate a whale position where all of the rebates was going to him rather than the dead address, which is what the plan was through that all the burning. Is that the dead address would get big enough that it actually becomes deflationary. And had all that actually happened, I think we'd been in a much different situation. And we absolutely had every intention of doing the DAAS for them. That was part of the deal. A lot of the chatter in their group now has been, well, it's the only reason it died is because EMP withdrew the DAAS offer, and again, that's just gaslighting at its finest. But the point is that we only withdrew that after he had already put the wheels in motion of again rugging the project basically. So I think that's really all that needs to be said. I would never ever do anything that is associated with Ghost. Again, he's trying to move over to Pulsechain, and looking back on things like LA said, with all the articles that were written and whistleblowers before him or before this, it is a pattern. So the only way to break a pattern is to break the chain, so to speak. So please spread the word. Again, we are no longer affiliated with LevelX. Ghost is a habitual scammer, and we just needed to set the record straight on air. And again, feel free to send this video to anybody that needs to hear it. Now, we are working on some sort of a compensation plan. Again, I say that just out of the doing the right thing. Obviously, we don't want to jeopardize EMP in that. In other words, we can't, cover somebody's losses from a protocol that doesn't have anything to do with it economically. I, again, because our name was attached, I wanted to try to do the right thing in a show of good faith. So we are collecting data now on some of the wallet addresses that lost the most. It will definitely not be a one-to-one refund. Again, this is crypto. We're all responsible for our own actions, and we're all responsible for pushing the buttons. But if we can work something out, just from a personal standpoint, we're looking into that as well. So if you are,
And I'll just
yeah,
add to
yeah,
that,
yeah, yeah, absolutely.
we have a form that we're making, and we'll have that ready, I want to say by early next week or the end of this week.
Yep,
So
totally. I know I had said reach out to me in DMs, but it is a little bit more than I was anticipating. So we are going to have a form just to keep everything organized. And yeah, if you again are listening to this on YouTube, just make sure you join our socials. So, all right, anything else you want to add about that before we move on?
nope. I was just going to agree with you. I think like I wholeheartedly still believe in the economics behind the token, and I do really think it would have succeeded had not been for that particular person involved. And so I'm looking forward to what we're creating, and I think that we just need to move on and look towards what we're building. That's a whole hell of a lot more exciting. So
Agreed, 100%. So, all right, awesome. All right, we're gonna move on to a special guest. Joe, are you there? I don't know if I'm gonna put him on the spot.
Yeah, I'm here. I didn't realize I was the special
You
guest.
are, brother. Yes, absolutely, Joe. We love hearing from you, man.
Awesome. Awesome. Do I get
Yeah,
a free t-shirt or anything like
yeah,
that?
you do. Yes, you won the consolation prize. Yeah, man, no doubt.
Sweet.
So, but yeah, brother. So I
Good.
wanted to bring you on. I know that we've been hearing a lot of potential FUD. Again, today started off as the FUD hour, but about Ledger, we see some really scary things that they've rolled out. So I wanted you again. Joe is one of our long-term veterans and part of our EMP army and our hardware wallet expert. So yeah, I would love to hear your thoughts, Joe. We've had a lot of people asking, and maybe Ledger might not be the best choice anymore after some recent developments. But go ahead, brother.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. It definitely exploded. Not in the way the CEO thought, but definitely he's received a lot of backlash. But to start with, I think it's important to just say Ledger has marketed itself or its wallet under the idea that users' assets are safe because the private keys never leave the device. True cold storage, as we would call it. But roughly a week, 2 weeks ago, they released a new service that allows Ledger Nano X users right now to recover their seed phrase in case they lose it, sort of like an insurance policy. If you keep that piece of paper and you lose it, which happens a lot, and their research show that many people have lost their seed phrase and benefit from having a backup service. So that's what they rolled out. They rolled out this new service. Basically, you upgrade your firmware, and then you would sign up as an optional service for roughly $10 a month. To do so, because you're giving over your private keys, and to give them back, they want to make sure there's some security there. You have to provide some KYC, so a government issued ID like a passport, driver's license, something like that, so that in the event you lose your keys and you want to have it recovered, they would confirm your identity. And then the way they did it was they split the keys up, called shard, into 3 parts. So there's 3 separate companies. Again, they were trying to make it so that not any 1 or 2 entities could take off with the seed phrase. So one of the companies was Ledger, and then they hired 2 other companies to take on the other parts of your seed phrase. I think it's important to just make a distinction. I know some of you know this already, but the crypto wallets don't actually hold your assets. We call them wallets, but they store your keys. So all your crypto assets are recorded on the blockchain, and that's it. Doesn't matter what chain it is, doesn't matter what coin it is. Your wallet holds your private keys. That is everything. That's what gives you access to the tokens and NFTs on the blockchain. But those private keys are very hard to write down, very hard to remember. It's easy to make a mistake. So to make it simple, programmers came up with this great human-friendly way called the seed phrase. So usually it's 12 to 24 words that you can write down, and it's very human-friendly, but it uses a very sophisticated algorithm to generate those private keys. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter what wallet you have. Say I have a Trezor. If you got my seed phrase, you could restore that on another wallet. You don't need my PIN. You don't need my password. Those are just securities that allow you into the wallet after you create the wallet. But the seed phrase is what's gold. So you have to protect that with everything, because once somebody has your seed phrase, they have your assets, period. Doesn't matter with your passwords or what else you use. So I think that's just important to keep in mind. So again, while this service sounded good on the surface and their research showed that people would benefit from it, it really raised a lot of serious security concerns. The biggest is that Ledger theoretically has the ability to extract your seed phrase, which goes against what they initially said and praised about their wallets, that your seed phrase or your private keys never leave your wallet. Now this service allows it to leave your wallet. So granted, they say you must upgrade your firmware to use a service, but what raises a lot of questions with a lot of savvy crypto people is that what's to say this firmware didn't have this backdoor capability of extracting your keys, and now they're just offering this service? And the answer is we don't know. This could have always been there, and of course it has, because if they can upgrade the firmware now to do it, they've always had that ability to turn it on. The question is whether previous firmwares had this switch on or off. We may never know the answer to that. And to compound that, their code is on the firmware is all closed source, meaning only the company has access to it. Other companies like you've heard of Trezor, you've heard of Keystone, they have what's called open source. So they basically let that code out and they let other programmers look at it, dive deep into it, and try to find any security concerns that can be raced back to the company to correct. And also, it's kind of like a full transparency way of doing business. Another concern is that you're giving your privacy up to 3 parties, right? Ledger plus 2 other ones. We know that Ledger had a hack in the past with its emails. So someone got on the Ledger server, and anyone that bought a Ledger within a certain period of time, those emails and personal addresses of over 270 customers were sold on the dark web. So people, if you're on the dark web and you're into that kind of thing, of course, you just do a sort of who, which areas are the wealthiest and have the addresses have the highest real estate, and you could target those areas. Now, has any of that happened? I don't know. But at the same time, this whole part about privacy, obviously, from a company whose main job is security, has their own server hacked, really doesn't speak well to them. Another concern, and the CEO was asked directly, well, since you now have our seed phrase and you have our ID, if something were to happen and government wanted to, court order you, would you release information? And they said, yeah, if we were court ordered, we would. So there goes the, privacy and decentralization part of it. So yeah, the community blew up on all that. They basically had a Bud Light moment, I like to call it, where it didn't go according to plan. And, you got people all over smashing their ledgers with hammers. They're burning their devices. So Ledger at this point has put that recovery service on freeze. I think they're doing some damage control and rethinking what they want to do. Personally, I think if they wanted to offer that service, which I genuinely think that they wanted to offer a service that was, would be applicable to some people. Some people want to pay $10 a month and not worry about a piece of paper and losing it. But they should have done it with a new device that was exclusive to that feature rather than opening that door to, current users. So what do we do from here? Well, I think in the short term, I wouldn't panic. That your funds are still safe on the wallet. I wouldn't upgrade your firmware. It's 2.2.1. Again, 2.2.1 is the new firmware. Your wallet will still work without it, but that's the firmware that's needed to enable this feature. And of course, you would have to sign up would be the second step. The other option is to look at another wallet, something like a Trezor. That's what I personally use for my main long-term cold storage. It works very similar to Ledger, but it has a good track record. It's open sourced. I like using the passphrase, which is a hidden wallet. You can look into that, but that basically hides your assets behind an address that's not with the 24-word seed phrase. It's actually like an extra seed phrase. And that passphrase is not stored on the wallet. So if you ever lose it and you have your seed phrase, you still will not have access to anything in the hidden wallets. So just keep that in mind. The more layers of security you add and the complexity obviously makes recovery that much harder and increases the chances of you making a mistake or losing something. So there's always a balance you have to make and what you're comfortable with. Of course, other wallets that are popping up and becoming popular, like Tangam wallets and Arculus, just keep in mind some of those are not DeFi friendly. You can't connect them to Rabi or to MetaMask. So They're good for traditional wallets where you're holding coins, but if you're doing DeFi, you can look at Rabby and you can look at MetaMask, and there are quite a few different options. We all know about Keystone. That's the one I personally use on the go. I use my Ledger at my PC. And I'm going to continue to use Ledger for DeFi because that doesn't hold the bulk of my assets, and I don't feel that it's compromised. In the long-term game, I will probably roll out of it and go with a new wallet. I have Trezor's extra ones. I'll probably end up using that or use the Keystone. The only thing with the Keystone is the battery life isn't the greatest, but it's good for on the go. I just don't want to use it for every day on the PC. So in a nutshell, I wouldn't panic. Just don't upgrade. Let's see what Trezor does. But if you have a lot of funds and you're really concerned, you can always look at going with another wallet like Trezor or Keystone. And of course, there's a slew of them. Air gap wallets are great because your wallet is never connected to the internet. Like Keystone is a good example. When you get a Keystone, you generate your seed phrase. That's done directly on the device. That's not connected to the internet in any way. The only cable you use would be the charge cable, and that goes into an outlet for power. It doesn't go into your PC. So it truly is air gapped. And when you make those transactions, it's done through a QR code. Other wallets like Arculus that are becoming very popular, it's very slick. I actually bought one and I'm returning it because it was supposed to have Web Connect capability, and it does, but only on Ethereum. So that's obviously useless for EMP or anything else on Binance or AVAX. So it was very limited for DeFi. And with the gas fees, I'm not doing anything on the Ethereum chain anyways. But even with Arculus that works on that card, there's no batteries. It's the size of a credit card. To set that up, you're using your phone, which is like a hot wallet, to generate the keys and then put that onto the other wallet. So it is air gapped and a cold wallet once it's set up, but that initial setup, it's not. So there's still some risk to that. So I think the big main thing is that all these wallets will have some pros and cons and some risks associated. You just have to decide how much risk you want to take, how much money you want to spend. But there's tons of videos covering this whole debacle. But in the short term, I wouldn't freak out. But yeah, in the long term, you want to kind of do your homework and see what wallet fits for you. And if you have any questions, I'd be happy to help anyone out.
Amazing. Thank you, Joe. Man, again, you definitely are our special guest because that money you can't buy, that's sort of a recap. So I appreciate you jumping on, Joe. Again, you are our resident hardware wallet expert. And I would tend to agree with you on almost everything. Again, I'm not a big conspiracy theory guy. I think, whether they have that capability now after, being subpoenaed, that would be the only real main concern as far as I would have. Again, I mean, who knows whatever jurisdiction or government you're involved in, that really goes against the ethos of crypto and why things are here in the first place. But I definitely do see the other end of the coin, which I think is where Ledger was coming from, is that, the world that we live in, and to achieve mass adoption, we have to have that customer service line. We're not going to have people that are crypto noobs, getting their life savings wiped out because they forget their seed phrase. So there is a happy medium there. Again, that's to each and every one of you individually to figure out. I can say unequivocally, again, Joe, I think would agree with this 100%, is that any hardware wallet is better than a hot wallet. So again, just definitely start learning about hardware wallets if you have some long-term savings, and even if you are in DeFi and want to just add that extra level of safety, definitely look into hardware wallets. And we have affiliate codes on all those. LA can post those, and they're usually in all the descriptions of our YouTube videos as well. But yeah, Joe, great recap, brother. I really appreciate it. And yeah, man, anything else you want to share before we move on to some other updates?
No, I think you nailed it. And I do agree with you 100%. Any hardware wallet is better than a hot wallet, for sure. And it's easy to do with both Ravi and MetaMask. So there's no reason not to do it. And there's wallets that are, under $100. So there's other options out there. And, once you're compromised, you can't go back. So the time to do it is before you have an issue.
Yep, 100%, brother. All right, awesome. And Joe is always available. So if any of you want to have further questions, please feel free to reach out. Again, don't get scammed. Never respond, to private messages. Never, ever, ever share your seed phrase with anybody or connect to any sort of other, help desk or other websites that ask you to connect your wallet that you're not familiar of. 99.9% of all those are scams. And obviously in our socials, make sure you can ask to verify any of our team members or Army members publicly in Telegram or Discord before you ever have a private conversation with them. So, but yeah, we're here to educate, and that was part of the ethos again here at EMP. When I got into crypto, I wish I had access to somebody that knew half the things that Joe does about hardware wallets, or other people, other Army members, other team members that give insight on how to be a better crypto user day in and day out of the goodness of their heart. So again, shout out to Joe. Thank you for your countless hours of commitment to EMP, Joe. I really appreciate you, brother.
Yeah, same to you, man. Thank you.
Awesome. All right, brother. All right, well, there you go. Awesome stuff. Again, feel free to share that segment of the AMA with anybody that wants to learn a little bit more about the recent ledger updates and what you can do to better protect yourself. So, all right, awesome. We have a few more updates, and then we'll get into some Q&As as well. We've been really moving forward on getting Fusion questions answered. So we do have a few at the end here, but if there's some that we don't answer, or there's some additional questions that you would like to have answered live, please feel free to type them in the chat section of YouTube, or we have a dedicated channel now on Discord that will allow you to ask questions for the following AMA, and we make sure that we get to each and every one of those. So, all right, the L1DEX. I know, again, we announced this on the last AMA. All of you were really excited. Let me go ahead and pull up the logo. Oh, Birdie's excited too. My daughter in the background. So there it is, L1DEX. So this will be the premier launch DEX on L1X. All of you seem to really love the name. Again, we were going for something super simple, something super straightforward, something that would compete for market share with centralized exchanges, but have a decentralized infrastructure. Again, to Joe's point, not your keys, not your crypto. So you're still in custody of all your crypto, but you can use the L1DEX to seamlessly swap between native assets on different chains, which is unheard of. So again, rather than having wrapped versions that you see now, you're actually going to be able to trade and swap between native assets on the individual chains themselves. So not only that, it's also much more efficient. We're going to have bot protection. We'll have other UI features that are much more robust than your typical AMM DEXs like PancakeSwap or Uniswap. This will be a lot more robust. So we're working on the MVP, minimal viable product. Dex Finance is going to be rolling that out hopefully next week on Arbitrum, so you'll get a flavor for what the Dex will be. Their protocol will live on Arbitrum now. They just went through a very successful migration as well, but that Dex will be the MVP for what the L1DEX will be. So again, that will help you get an idea of what it will be. Again, already built even before the chain launches, and then once the chain goes live, L1X, then we'll be able to integrate all the interoperability under the hood, so to speak, where again all those new features that have never been done before are now possible because of the L1X technology. So everything else is ahead of schedule. From what I've heard, they're shooting for August at a launch. I also hear rumors of another round of token sales. So hopefully we'll have an update on that next week. Hopefully by the end of the month, they're opening up another round of the L1X pre-sale, but it won't be the seed round that all of you got involved in a few months ago. This will be more the public sale price. So that's exciting. They're ramping up their advertising as well. They hired a brand new marketing director. They've been all over the world. We met with the L1X team in Miami when they were down here about a month ago. Then they went to New York. They were on the NASDAQ exchange. They've been on TV here in America. They've been in Dubai. They just spent a week and a half in Dubai. And now everybody is headed to India. They're doing a huge hackathon in India. I know Cody and some of the team from L1X is headed over there literally as we speak. So we'll get an update from them in India and hopefully roll out some more really awesome features that L1X has been the first to do in crypto history. So again, not to give away too much alpha, but there's going to be a lot of mega announcements in terms of L1X. So, and then one last thing with the DEX, and then LA, I'd love to have you give some input too. I told a lot of you that we were holding a little competition for finding the Easter egg in the logo. Two Easter eggs. One is a little less obvious than the other, but it has to do with the negative space of L1 and DEX. So I'm going to pull up this. So if you look in between the L and the 1, what do you see? A lightning bolt. So again, EMP and DEX Finance coming together to build the L1DEX. And so we have a little Easter egg having that lightning bolt in between the L and the 1. And then obviously DEX, decentralized exchange, DEX Finance, and that's DEX's logo as well. So again, not that obvious, but once you see it, you go, wow, that's pretty cool. And yeah, we had a lot of inspiration from MC Escher and the whole interoperability and being able to swap seamlessly between chains. That was also represented in the L and the 1 and the arrow. So let me go back to that. All right, here we go. So yeah, LA, anything else you want to add about the DEX or any other news on the socials? I know we've been getting the Twitter, the Discord, the Telegram up. I know you've been spearheading a lot of that. So yeah, go ahead.
I mean, wow, the Telegram's already been pretty fire. There's been so much action in there already, so that's been exciting.
Absolutely, I know
But
it's
yeah,
blowing up.
yeah. We're gonna continue building. This is just the beginning of just having launched them, but there's so much more to come that we're planning behind the scenes. So definitely keep an eye out for that. And if you're interested in being kind of on our street team, those who help us, blast out all the social media posts every time we post them, help get the word out, definitely reach out to me. We're going to be putting together kind of, some type of street team to get the word out and get building. So definitely reach out to me about that. And we're going to keep updating you guys as we go and as we build.
Absolutely, no doubt. So again, we're really early to the party. We haven't even begun the co-marketing campaign with L1X yet. This is just us getting up and rolling and getting it out there. And again, all of you that have been along for the ride are the first to hear about it. So and we've been posting some of our old AMAs. In the L1DEX chat as well. Last week we posted the one we did with James Pelton with Machu and the L1X team themselves. That one was a really great overview because a lot of people, again, they don't understand, not only is this going to be a revolutionary DEX in terms of user experience, but how the tech really makes this something incredible. And again, L1X definitely, they're big claims and they have to deliver on everything that they're saying that they can do. But I have no doubt in my mind that they will be able to. And if and when, not if, but when that does happen, there will be no reason to use any other decks. And that is just an amazing opportunity for all of us at EMP and DEX Finance, and all of you providing liquidity and using the DEX to earn. Because, again, just to do a real fast overview, all of the revenue generated from the DEX will be redistributed to LP providers, and we have equity in the DEX as well. So a portion of that will be going to support the EMP ecosystem and the DEX finance ecosystem. So unlike other exchanges, again, I'll just use PancakeSwap as an example because I know a lot of you are familiar with it. They have a reward token called Cake. And typically, when you are rewarded in a secondary token, the only reason to uh, uh, yield that token is to sell it. And that really, is a very inefficient way of doing the tokenomics. And it leads to a lot of selling pressure on that incentive token over the long run. So with our model, we're doing what we're calling a real yield model, where by providing liquidity through the DEX, you are actually earning a portion of the DEX fees in a much larger way than you would in typical other, liquidity farms. So, and that's a beautiful thing because it puts direct pressure on L1X itself. So, again, because you're earning a portion of the fees, you're rewarded in L1X token. And again, that's buying pressure, that's use case, it's all of the above on L1X itself. So it makes it much more efficient and should do wonders for the price of L1X, over time, because it's just, again, much more centralized buying pressure and not a secondary token that's only going to be dumped. So, yeah, we're excited for that. And again, L1X will be the universal gas token as well. So, with the wallet that they're rolling out, you could essentially do a transaction on Ethereum or Binance or Pulse. Again, a lot of people have been asking about Pulse. Yeah, I mean, I would not see a reason that Pulse would not be supported right out of the gate for L1X. Again, I'm not on the L1X team, but it is an EVM chain, and at this rate, Pulsechain is overtaken Binance Smart Chain in terms of volume. So I would assume they would want to launch on a chain that has a lot of action. So I think all of that is in the works, and we will be the DEX to facilitate all that once it's finally live. So, all right, LA, anything you want to add to that?
No, you got it.
Oh, sorry, I was muted. All right, awesome. All right, then let's move on over to Fusion. Let me go ahead and pull this up. Hang on one second. All right, here we go. So, Fusion updates. Again, I know I had said we were hoping to give everybody a timeline today, and we are closer than ever. So, again, we had a major developer meeting yesterday, and we are officially we are on testnet. The contracts are done, the front end is done. We had been in testnet for a while. We made some adjustments where we had to kind of regroup. Sorry for the background noise. Oh, Birdie's going crazy. We had to pull it down off testnet, and now we've redeployed, and everything is working amazingly well. So again, I'm not ready to announce an actual date because once we announce a date, that will be it 100%. But again, we were really hoping by the end of the month, we may be a little bit farther out, but again, we are closer than ever. And again, we're making major headway. The guys have been killing it. And this is all the while Jake, our lead dev, has been working on another kind of a surprise for everybody. That again, I literally got a message from him during this AMA on something that we've been working on. So he's been pulling double duty, and this is really bullish in regards to Impulse. So and Pulsechain. So we have a ton. It's going to be, again, we didn't intend it to be this way, but it may be one of those things where we have some mega announcements all within a few days of each other. And unfortunately, that's just the way it's got to go. But that is really amazing for hitting the ground running and getting the word out ASAP. So again, I don't have a hard date yet, but we've never been closer. We are absolutely only weeks away, not months, maybe even days. So everything's looking really good, and we just want to make sure again, the same old speech I give every time. We want to make sure that we launch Fusion and the Sacrifice to be not only functioning but safe. So we would never roll out something, sooner than it's ready, just because we have a 100% flawless track record of having code that works, and we don't want to jeopardize that. So, yeah, it's almost there. LA, I know I'm the ultimate tease, but I know you've been in every one of those meetings, and
Yeah.
it's been more headway in the last, week than we've seen in the last few weeks. So really promising.
And the crazy thing is, like, you only listed 2 out of the 3 exciting things that are happening.
Totally.
There's one more that we can't say. So, I said it before, but shit could get bananas. But no, I've been reading the chats as they come up in our developer chat every day, and there's a play-by-play of all the testing as it's happening, and it's been really rolling along, and it's been getting me really amped up. So I am not fully literate in all of the developer speak, but from what I've been reading, it's been coming along extremely well. So it's been looking very good.
Yep, 100%. I mean, literally, building this from the ground up has been, quite the undertaking. Again, I'm sure all of us can admit that it was a much bigger undertaking than we had originally thought. That was a lot of the reason for some of these delays. But in code, once you have the infrastructure down and you move into more of a testing phase, and the front end is also pretty much done. We've had that done for a while now, but and that was one last point I wanted to make. So we had Shane on last week. He's one of our amazing devs, and we have a whole new dev team. Well, not new, but a whole additional dev team that has been working on this ever since we launched the Sentinel Squadron NFTs. They were very instrumental in the everything after that. And my point is that, even when we have the testing done and the front end done, we are still, no matter how much we love somebody and trust somebody, again, back to the beginning of this AMA, we as a team are the ones that will actually do the engineering in terms of hooking up the smart contract to the actual website. And I want to make that clear because that is a major safety element. So, again, uh, Jake is the one that has to physically go in and hook up, all the Web3 elements to the interface. And, we do that on purpose because it is that, level of plausible deniability where we would never give somebody access to, a possible exploit, even if they are, somebody that we've been working with and we trust. So where security is number one. Again, yes, it may add a few more days of, making sure everybody's on the same page, But if that means that it's a safer product for everybody in the end, then that's what has to happen. So again, just to give everybody a little more background on what happens behind the scenes. But we're excited. We're almost there. And again, I'm hopefully to have an actual hard date for you. Uh, who knows? Next week would be awesome if we can announce the go live date, even if it is a little farther out, and give you all time to prepare. But and I know a lot of you have been asking, for the actual date so you can prepare. But honestly, you should have been preparing for the last month. I know, we see even today we've seen people start getting impatient. Again, a little bit of dumping on EMP, just with the overall market too. Bitcoin was looking really weak, so we saw people selling a little more. But that is all, opportunity for you to load up before we flip the proverbial switch that we were talking about on the last AMA. It could be, overnight we see things turn around and go only up from there. And again, the other thing we mentioned was revenue streams. We have been absolutely killing it with a revenue stream. Again, I've been a little vague about it. Some of our VIPs know about it. The opportunity is now closed. We've reached our cap, and we're only working with some select individuals, as well as the EMP Treasury. But that revenue stream has been crushing it. And that again will lead directly into not only building our treasury and yield even larger, but actually providing real yield for Fusion. So, APR, again, everybody's wondering what the APR in Fusion will be. Well, that doesn't even account for any new revenue streams that will be bolstering not only the price of EMP and eShare, but also the rewards in Fusion. So, again, there's just so much happening that, again, I think it's all going to kind of, crescendo into one massive bullish week of news where all of you are just going to lose your mind. It'll be one massive announcement after another. And again, I don't want to say too much on air, but we have also secured a partnership with an amazing protocol in regards to that trading opportunity. Where they have with again a protocol that all of you have definitely heard of. And yeah, LA, I sent you the contract last night. If we could only tell them, right? Pretty bullish. But hopefully we'll be able to tell them eventually. So yeah,
Their minds are going to be blown.
100%. So all of our contacts in the crypto space are really starting to pay off. So, we've built relationships at Consensus down here in Miami. We've had a bunch of private meetings as well, and now all of it's coming together. And again, I can't wait for the day that we do our AMAs where we have literally come from a point. I think it's a very low. We were at a point one. I'm sorry, 0.21 peg, and we will be back at peg when Fusion launches, and just that alone is going to be such a redemption story for EMP, and moving forward with a much more sustainable model in EMP itself. So really, we're killing it. It's been amazing. All of the current members, again, just to clarify, all the current members in that opportunity, if you're a VIP, because you supported us, you still are able to participate. But any new participation in that opportunity is now closed. So shout out to all of you that have always supported EMP and always, have our back with what we're doing and what we're trying to produce. So, all right, awesome. That is all the updates with Fusion and the revenue streams and the timelines that I can give. But LA, do we have any questions about Fusion specifically or any other questions?
Yes, we do.
All right,
So here's
awesome.
number one. Will there be referral links in Fusion?
Yes, this is a great question. So, as of right now, that is not part of the plan. Again, referral links are very easy to implement. Obviously, we like the idea, of helping spread the word. But we're pretty confident that Fusion will be able to stand on its own and speak for itself. I've said this in many other AMAs, and one of the reasons why we never really did a hard referral system in EMP to begin with. One, the SEC and potential regulation, they don't like referral programs, so that's one of the reasons. But the main reason is that we really don't want to take away rewards, as part of that. So again, the money has to come from somewhere, and if we're doing a referral program, then that's rewards to the referees, rather than you as a participant. So I think there is a fine line. I don't want to say no, that there won't be some sort of referral program, but as of right now, it's not in the works, and we'd much rather spend you know, strategically, on traditional marketing, rather than, the more MLM style marketing. And again, it just keeps all the rewards in the system. So hopefully that answers.
Yep. Okay, here's number 2. There's a bonus for buying EMP or LP when we're below peg. If I sacrifice and with the bonus, I get 1,000 sacrifice points. If the peg moves back to 1.0, will the value in my microgrid stay at $1,000, or do we get price appreciation also from peg movements?
Yes, that's a great question. And again, it's something that during our testing, we actually went back and forth on this at least twice now. So I did get an update. I think LA, you were the one that even was pressing Jake for an answer. And so as the way I see it right now, and again, we'll update the white paper to be the exact way that it's calculated with the actual math behind it. Um, but the answer is kind of both. So if you're sacrificing under peg, you are getting the dollar value as if we were at peg. So the short answer is dollar value, and it's immediate because you're essentially getting credit as if we were at peg. Now, when we get to peg, we're at peg, but now ETH goes up, so now the ratio is higher. Again, say ETH goes to $4,000, and now we're at a 1-to-1 ratio where one EMP is $1 at peg, then you would experience the price appreciation of that. So again, you're no longer experiencing the price appreciation getting to peg because you're already paid as if we were at peg. But if peg continues to go up after we've reached that parity, then yes, you would experience the price appreciation of that because the microgrid represents a certain amount of EMP that's locked in that NFT. So naturally, if that EMP is worth more, then the dollar value of that is worth more as well. So again, it's a little bit more complicated than on the surface, because it's both calculated in dollar value and EMP itself. So yeah, does that help? I hope I didn't confuse people more, but LA, is that how you understood it as well? Feel free to elaborate.
I think you should probably like take it back and maybe try to break it down a little bit simpler
Okay.
if you can.
Yeah, so when you're sacrificing EMP, you are getting at peg value. So again, just for easy numbers, it's about a 3x from where we are at this current moment. So again, and as peg continues to go up, and we reach parity, you're getting less and less of a bonus over time. And then your microgrid is calculated in dollar value. So you will see a dollar value associated with your microgrid, and that is assuming that your EMP in your microgrid is at peg value. So again, you're getting the only other way I can describe it is almost a futures contract where we as a protocol are so confident that we will get back to peg that we're honoring the future price of peg when you sacrifice. And so that's why it's so attractive for people to sacrifice as much as they can, as soon as they can, because they're getting a much more, a much larger bonus in the meantime in regards to your value of your microgrid. So, and then once we are at peg, or if you're a new user, maybe you're hearing about EMP and Fusion later on. We're already back at peg. Well, now you would just, again, sacrifice in. If we're below peg, then you still get a little bit of a bonus. But if not, then you can just buy EMP and convert right on our swap page, and then that will be valued at peg, whatever peg is. But if the price of ETH goes up, then you obviously experience the increase as well. And that's why, we've said in the past, peg doesn't really matter or is less relevant in terms of yielding, but peg is still relevant in terms of price appreciation. And that's why it's really important for us that we still maintain a peg in Fusion and any of the protocols because we want people to experience the again overall growth of ETH as we go year after year after year. I mean, again, that is the beauty of what we're building is that you're not only experiencing as if you were holding Ethereum in your wallet, not earning you anything, but now you're also earning on that Ethereum while you're still exposed to the increase of ETH. So it is a win-win and a lot more, again, efficient and what DeFi or decentralized finance is all about. And that's kind of, again, the vision of what we're building. But again, I don't know. I don't know if I explained it good as well, LA. Was there any specific part I need to make more simple or clear?
Let's see what I mean, I get it, but I just want to make sure they get it because I know that part confuses a lot of people, but I don't know how else to explain it. But I'm just refreshing my YouTube to see if anyone wrote anything in the comments. So just give me a sec.
All right, thanks, Florida Joe. Yeah, he said he thinks it's clear. Yeah, again, I apologize. I'm
Okay.
trying to be as clear as I can be, and I get it. It can be overwhelming. And I think once you see the actual formula, it'll be a lot more clear. And the interface is going to be huge. I mean, you'll be able to see in real time the dollar value of your microgrid based on what you've sacrificed and what that microgrid is now worth because of the BBE. Remember, every day you're earning some energy, and if you don't have a battery, then that goes right back into building your ownership and therefore value of your microgrid. So that's where the auto compounder effect kind of takes over, where if we're maintaining a consistent price, your microgrid is always growing in value because those energies are used to compound back in. So again, all of that will be a lot easier to see in an interface. And LA, I know again we didn't even talk about this, but a little birdie, my birdie, told me that you're working on some videos that will help illustrate all this as well. Is that going well?
We are, yeah. We're making good headway. We had another meeting yesterday. We are getting close to having the first few ready. It looks like there's going to be a series of about 6 videos that completely break Fusion down, kind of like a Fusion specific academy almost. And then once the UI is out, we will do more kind of hands-on technical stuff that's like walking you through how to actually do everything hands-on. But this is more of a deep understanding of how everything works and what everything is and all the questions that everyone's been asking a lot and that kind of thing. But we're making really good progress, and we have been going back and forth and hopping on calls and everything. So I think we're getting pretty close here.
Amazing. Yeah, totally. And again, like Ellie said, we'll have standalone videos. We'll have an updated version of the Academy, and literally, for the first 6 months, I'll be doing these AMAs where we're literally going through live, and showing Fusion and answering questions, and it'll be a whole process as we go. But yeah, I mean, we're excited for all that. And again, all of you that are here now are going to have a major advantage in terms of knowing, how to play the game, so to speak. And yeah, Tammy also says that will be helpful when you're on vacation. So yeah, and that was also a really big part of it. A lot of the systems in Fusion are as automated as we can possibly make them. So, we never advocate for you to set it and forget it. If you're going to invest into something, I think it's really important that you stay up to speed on it. Again, we say it all the time: invest in your investment. But yeah, I mean, you can take a week vacation, or check in once a month, and all of that will be you're never ever losing out on any potential rewards with the way Fusion's set up. So that's super bullish, especially compared to how active the current EMP management is. This will be a breath of fresh air for sure. All right, any other questions, Ellie?
For those of you who rely on me for your detonator clock, it just went off.
Yes. All right, yeah, I don't see any other questions. Go ahead,
Sorry,
Ellie.
I
Yeah.
have more questions.
Oh, all
Yeah,
right.
I have
No
more
worries.
questions.
Yeah.
Okay, I think this one was probably answered in Joe's segment, but I'm going to ask it out loud and then we'll determine whether we need to answer it any further or not. Pertaining to the Ledger hardware wallet, there has been some FUD this week pertaining to safety leaks and potential exposure of them handing over seed phrases with a government subpoena, which completely defies the purpose of self-custody and decentralization. If we want to use a different hardware wallet, does it need to be done? Oh no, we can answer this part for sure. If we want to use a different hardware wallet, does it need to be done before the sacrifice? And once we sacrifice, are we married to that wallet address just like we were with the detonator in the past? If there is a need in the future to switch around wallets, will there be any flexibility?
Yeah, totally. So again, just because we're trying to get the MVP out of Fusion on our own, meaning the minimal viable product of just what has to be there in the code to get it out, and then we can add features down the road. Whatever wallet you sacrifice from, that will be the wallet that you are credited your microgrid. Now, you will be able to basically sell your microgrid to yourself, um, or again, if we see it being, an issue where people are worried about others trying to snipe, their microgrid while they're trying to transfer it, that is a very easy thing that we can add later on that allows you to swap. But your microgrid will again be an NFT and work, exactly how NFTs work. So just like you would be able to transfer. Um, an NFT to a different wallet, it would be the same concept. Now, you can't have more than one microgrid at a time. So if you do transfer, it'll either fail, or if you transfer manually, it'll either fail or it'll automatically combine the two microgrids. So be very careful when doing that. We'll get more info again once we're live. But the short answer is right off the bat, you can sell it to yourself, which would be instant. And then if it's still not comfortable for people to do that, or we need to have a better way of doing it, then we'll have a swap feature that you can send that to any new wallet address you would want to. But if it's a fresh address, you should be able to send the NFT no problem anyway. So there's a bunch of ways we can make that happen for sure. Again, just make sure your hardware wallet is NFT compatible, which they all are now, I think.
Awesome.
So yeah.
Awesome. Okay, and the last one, there was definitely a little bit of confusion there with something that you had said in the past, and I think misunderstanding what you had said. So I definitely wanted to address this one so that you can make sure that no one else misunderstood what you said before, and you can kind of clear it up for everyone at
For
the
sure.
same time. So in a recent AMA, AJ explained that even though the Detonator and other DAAS products would automatically deposit their daily burst to the central grid, it would still be possible to claim or cash out that daily burst in the currency of your choice. And this could even be done daily if you choose. So what is to prevent the same situation we have now, where many people are simply claiming every day and draining the pool balance?
Yes. All right. So again, and I'm guilty of this because at one point I even put it in the main Telegram. It was a late night and I just wasn't thinking correctly, where I was confirming the wrong thing. So and LA, you're more than welcome to back me up if I still don't say it clearly. But the idea is that it is applied to your central grid and not your liquid energy in your microgrid. So you are essentially getting less off the bat because you're only able to claim the energy that your microgrid produces. So you're not getting that credit as a liquid energy that you can then just cash out immediately. It's meant to build your ownership of the central grid, which will then give you more energy over time, which again not only slows the claiming process, but actually allows you to earn more in the long run because you're building up your ownership in Fusion. So does that make sense, LA? I don't know. Again, I know there's a lot of moving parts, but
For sure. And I think maybe the part that maybe would have gotten misunderstood is this. And I did write this on Discord, but I wanted to make sure to say it tonight as well so that everyone could hear it. Once you claim daily, once you claim and you add to your central grid, you will earn daily energy rewards. Those energy rewards can be cashed out daily if you choose, depending on the size of your battery and the size of your central grid position and how quickly you fill up that battery. That's kind of a caveat. But
totally.
if you so choose, you can cash out those energy rewards for stable coins or whatever we have to offer in way of cash out batteries in the marketplace. So I think that part is maybe what got misunderstood. So once you claim from Detonator Reactor, whatever DAAS contract, you're actually able to, if you're on a 6-1 or a 5-2 schedule with your claiming, every single time you're claiming, you are perpetually able to add to your central grid pool percentage. This is a huge advantage if you were well balanced in the ecosystem and you did have a chunk to sacrifice from your farm or from your liquid holdings, or if right now you're able to take advantage of the low prices and the great multipliers that we're offering and buy a stack to sacrifice, because then not only do you start out with your chunk, but you are perpetually adding to it through your detonator, through your nodes, through your NFTs, and you're increasing your pool percentage so that you're increasing the amount that you're earning daily in your energy rewards. Whereas someone else may only have that initial chunk that they sacrificed, and maybe they don't have detonator position, maybe they don't have node position. And so they have to rely on their BBE in order to increase their pool position. And you have an opportunity to do both. And so you can
Totally.
potentially get ahead quicker than they can. And so you actually can be at an advantage. So it's all how you decide to look at things. And I know sometimes some people looked at it as a disadvantage, but I actually see it as an advantage as long as you had a well-balanced position in the ecosystem.
Yeah, I could not agree more, Ellie. That was great points. And two, one last thing that I think people may get a little confused on, when we say you can cash out your energy for stable token or BNB or ETH or whatever battery, you end up choosing, that doesn't necessarily mean that we're converting the LP from those claims and DAAS products into that. I mean, there may be we're going to have a massive treasury that we can facilitate those swaps. Um, and the reward pool gets kind of lumped all together. And it's just dependent on what people want to withdraw. And that's really bullish for the actual contracts, the DOS contracts themselves. Because if we're not having to sell the LP to pay rewards, that means the LP can stay in those contracts. And that is the whole point of why we're integrating it directly into Fusion because it literally stops the bleeding. Again, we talk about this a lot. And that's what that means is that, we can pay rewards without ever having to sell the LP. Now, if everybody's claiming, out of the LP on these and not doing the BBE, then yeah, we may have to start selling some LP to pay for that redemption, but it's a lot less than what it is now. And even if that were to happen, we're able to then reallocate back into and really all that won't even be a problem with Detonator V3 because there will be other variables that if you're claiming more than the recommended strategy, then you start getting penalized as well. And so all of these things are meant to put the power back into the people that are using Detonator and Detonator as a service correctly and how it was intended to be used. And you're not having to pay the price, of whales that have just gotten in and accumulated. So all of that again is part of the long-term vision of what we're doing.
Amazing. So I believe we may have another question in the comments. So David is asking, wondering whether Fusion being like a futures contract is a hint about the upcoming partnership.
Right on, David. I was trying to get some alpha. So, yeah, that is not what I was alluding to. I know what protocol you're referring to. Nothing but love to BT and that community. And who knows? Maybe there will be a partner token integrated down the road. But as of right now, that is some speculation, Dave. But yeah, not as of right now. That is not what I was referring to. But I love it. And yeah, I mean, and that's the other beautiful part about Fusion. We'll be able to, allow other protocols to give liquidity in their token as a cash out option for Fusion. And not only is that bullish for, us in terms of being able to get fees on more volume, but it's bullish for other communities as well, and that's why we have made the comparison, that Fusion will also be some sort of a launch pad. The protocol David's referring to is pretty well established, but maybe there's another protocol that isn't as well established that would be looking for, an amazing community like ours. They pass all of the, auditing and due diligence that we need to do. And then, yeah, I mean, the only way to get into their pre-sale would be through earning or converting your e-share into energy and then buying that partner token on the marketplace. So, I mean, there's so many different possibilities and synergies that we can work. And again, I mean, Fusion could literally be one of the most robust all-in-one marketplaces in all of crypto. And again, I know a lot of people have tried to get more alpha out of us in terms of our chain. But even if we, I mean, the overall question that I've been seeing too is, are we moving to L1X? Well, if we feel like Fusion is going to work better on, for the marketplace portion at least, would work better on L1X, then that's not out of the question for sure. But the beautiful part about L1X is that we have become interoperable with all the other chains, no matter what chain we're on. So again, there is no plans to migrate away from BSC at the moment, and then rather we would use the L1X tech to be interoperable with all the chains. And then when that happens, just imagine the volume that we could be doing then. I mean, we could be having launchpad tokens for Pulse, within Fusion. I mean, how bullish would that be? So the possibilities are endless, with all the infrastructure that we're building and putting together behind the scenes. So again, I said it on the last AMA, there's 6 months of work that you may not see the fruits of that labor, for another year. But once that actually happens and everything is running like a well-oiled machine, that is where the gains are just insane because we're capitalizing on all the volume and all the infrastructure that we put in place, and makes it look like we, accomplished everything that we were building, months and months ago. So yeah, hopefully that helps. Again, not to get a little off topic, but I wanted to clarify that too.
Awesome. Can you give us more? Can you give us more on how we build our central grid to earn more daily energy?
Yeah, so if all you're concerned about is building your central grid and earning more energy, then literally all you have to do is sacrifice and sit back and let the BBE do its work. The buyback and earn, again, BBE, it's just like an auto compounder. Those of you that were in Beefy or Yield Wolf or the Magic Farms or the Dex Vaults, any of those, it takes your energy reward, it automatically converts it to half EMP, half Ethereum, and then puts it right back into the LP, or therefore your ownership of Fusion. Now, it won't be EMP ETH LP. We'll be having protocol owned liquidity. It'll be literally just converting your energy into EMP, which is awesome because that's double the buying pressure on EMP than the current auto vaults because you don't have to buy the ETH side, which again will help peg tremendously. But that will help you again build your ownership, and that's really amazing for minnows, because I think a lot of times minnows have a hard time competing because they can't go as heavy. But with the BBE, time is on your side. So as long as you're letting that happen every day, in a month and 6 months, you can have a major position in Fusion with a very minimal upfront investment because of compounding and that BBE at work. So yeah, and you can always add too. So again, maybe you have a small position, but you're able to bring over 10 to $100 a week in eShare. Then you can always sacrifice that eShare or EMP. If we're below peg, you can just buy EMP and get a little more of a bonus to continue to build and DCA into your central grid ownership as well. So those are some, again, very high level strategies that you can start planning for. What you don't want to do is immediately go to a battery and start cashing out, or because then those that are doing the BBE will gain ownership over you, because it's either one or the other, unless again you have a strategy you can do both, where you only cash out once a week to a battery, or 1 week. Maybe 1 week you fill up your battery, and 1 week you turn the battery off and let the BBE take over. So there'll be a ton of different ways to do it. But if you're a minnow, focusing on the BBE would be what I would do for sure.
Amazing. I think that's it.
Awesome. Yeah, and we're gonna have again. I mean, you all saw our infinite money loop, all of our different strategies with the old EMP system. We'll have full breakdowns on everything I just mentioned about if you want to increase your central grid ownership, if you want to get more cash flow, if you want to try to compound into partner tokens. We'll have a whole bunch of different strategies when Fusion's actually live, that will be again helpful in different strategies. That's going to be the fun part. We'll probably have 45 different strategies depending on what you do. I can't wait to have the community really min max and dive into different ways on how to play the game, so to speak. So that's one thing I'm really looking forward to when Fusion is finally out. So all right, awesome. Then yeah, I think we're caught up. Any other last minute updates or news or any comments you want to leave everybody with? Go ahead, LA.
I think that's it. You're all rock stars. Thanks for joining us.
Perfect. All right, absolutely. I agree. We are all rock stars. We have the best community in crypto, and I stand by that from day one. All of you have really helped us get through this, building phase, and now we can really start to capitalize on what we've been doing and what we have been building. So we're really, really close. And again, like I said earlier, we have even one more thing up our sleeve that's a bit of a surprise that hopefully we'll be able to announce next week, if not sooner. So definitely stay tuned to our socials, both Telegram and Discord and Twitter. If we do a surprise announcement before Monday, over the weekend we may have something else. So, but we're full steam ahead on all fronts. So, all right, much love to all of you. Thanks for all your effort and always showing up and supporting EMP. So we will see you on Monday, 6:45 p.m. Eastern, and more updates for next week. So good night, good day. See you on Monday.